discussing the entire procedure for applying for Germany visa end to end. That will include the paperwork, the formalities, the procedure, and the entire timeline that you might expect once you apply for visa. At how much time will you get the visa delivered to your home? And that's something interesting to see. Let's get this process started. Now, the first question: do I even need a visa? Now, that depends what kind of visa or passport you hold as of now. Let's say the first one. If you are a member of EU country, then probably you don't need a visa at all. That's very straightforward. Next, if you're from Australia, New Zealand, or US, then probably might need a visa. In most of them, it doesn't. But yeah, in some cases you do. Then comes the third category where it calls everything else, the other countries. So that obviously need a visa. Now, let's understand the procedure. Now, it might depend on what duration you are going for. Is it short or long, and it's called different. Now let's say you're going for a shorter duration, which is less than 90 days, it's called Schengen visa. If you're going for more than 90 days, it's national visa. So that's very straightforward here. Now we get going. Now, like every other country, Germany have outsourced the entire procedure for applying for Germany visa to a company known as VFS Global. Now, VFS Global handle paperwork for most of the client, which are embassies in most of the countries, and so they are working here as well. Now the procedure goes like this: you book an appointment with VFS or with whichever relevant category. You submit your paperwork at consulate or VFS. Your paper gets sent to the consulate or embassy for processing, which happen behind the scene. They do some things, stuffs, and finally they make a decision, and then you send back your visa or the passport or the decision finally to you. Now, it's comparatively easy if you compare with US visas, which is quite a number of visits to consulate or the VFS center. Now the procedure is a bit easy here and a bit straightforward as well. You just need to make one visit and you're probably done with the decision making happening behind the scene. Now if you go to this website, you will see that it shows you different category, and based on that the paperwork differ. So this is the first website probably you will go if you have decided that VFS is the one which will process my visa. Now it also depends on whether you need to go to the visa application center or to the embassy or consulate. Now each of them have different checklist and they differ based on the category. So you might be interested in getting to know where you have to go first. So that's where you need to go to the website. Now obvious question might ask you, so what are embassies and consulate? So embassies on the capital, and its main mission is to connect the country with an outside, whichever country is host. So its purpose is just much more than issuing visa. And then comes the consulate, which is in various states other than the capital, and it connect directly with embassy. So it's kind of substitute to the embassy in different states and different prominence. Let's move on. Now India have one embassy obviously in capital, and then different consulates in Bangalore, Chennai, Kolkata, and Mumbai. Now another thing is like how many consulate or embassies do we have? That's is where we see. Now the embassy is in the capital. It's in Chanakyapuri, which area which hosts many other embassies as well. So you can find the contact details and the official websites here for various purposes. Just an information, he's ambassador to Germany, India. That's the okay. Another important question now. Let's say you are from Maharashtra, Mumbai, and you want to apply for a visa. Now, can you apply from, let's say, Kolkata or Bangalore? The answer is no. So there is jurisdiction decided for each state. So each state have a jurisdiction, and the state is given. If you are from that area, then you have to go to that state only as a jurisdiction. Now let's say you are from Mumbai, so you have to go to Mumbai only. Let's say you are from Goa, you have to go to Mumbai only. You cannot go to New Delhi or Bangalore. That's the jurisdiction decided. If at all you try to do the other way, you might return empty-handed because they might ask and see and decline to entertain you further. So be cautious in that. Now, another important question: do I need a German skill certificate to get a visa? Depends on what category you're applying for. Let's say you're applying for blue card or highly qualified professionals, or you're looking for a study program. In most cases you don't, but in some cases you do, and wherever it is applicable, you have to make sure you have the qualification necessary before you apply for visa, rather than wasting your time. Let's move on. Now this is the overall procedure if you see from a labor market perspective. So let's say a 6-step procedure. You first decide on which category you're looking for, whether you're looking for job search or self-employment, work or family reunification. Based on that, your paperwork and formalities increases or decreases, and this is where it is listed. Then you make an appointment with the embassy or the consulate or the BFS provider. Then you apply for a visa, and finally once it is approved, then you enter Germany, and after fulfilling certain requirements, you apply for resident permit, which is your further extension of your initial, let's say, 6-month visa to maybe a 5-year or whatever duration you are authorized to work with or stay with. That's from labor market perspective. It's similar for the education market as well, where you go as a student or a research programmer. You have similar things. You have certain criteria to be met, certain formalities. Then you again have like making an appointment, getting a visa, entering Germany, and applying for the resident permit. Quite similar. Let's move on. Now, my advice: have all the documents ready with originals wherever possible. Make sure your birth certificate is available in most cases if required. Be early on appointment date and do not take a chance. Make sure your passport is still valid, and if it is having more than less than 1 year validity, then you can always request for a new one. Also make sure it have enough pages available, otherwise it will be a trouble for you. Again, in certain categories they might ask you for proof of accommodation and travel tickets, so be cautious on that. If you're a student, a block account is mandatory and you can get it online. It's hardly of any challenge that you can do it very much easily online. Next comes the most important, which people probably forget or ignore. A travel insurance is mandatory in EU countries, so this is something not optional. You can get it for, like, say 3 month or whatever duration you want, and it should be of minimum 30k values, so that's mandatory. You cannot have it as an option. Make sure you have it, otherwise you will not be entertained in most cases. Now this is the official website of Germany in India, and this is where you go to find out whether you need a long-term visa or short-term visa, and you find out the paperwork accordingly. Just go to the website, do the checklist, and you will get to know. Now Visa Navigator will further tell you which page you need to go to find the information. Now let's say if you go to Visa Navigator, it will have some basic question, whether you are from EU countries, whether you are a student or not, and these obvious questions you will end up with a page which says, okay, if you're a, let's say, student, this is what you need. You need a passport, you need a biometric photo, you need to fill the form, you need to get the things in order, you need to have a admission proof, and so on and on and so on, and then you will have the procedure. So this is how it goes. You will get to know more and more accurate information in this website. So I would suggest you go to this website as well, which gives you much more information which others doesn't. So it keep you updated and very much official for a student. Similar way, if you are going as a working professional, the requirements differ. Let's say you're going as an IT professional, then you have some criteria of minimum pay packages. So anyone who is offering you a offer, he should have a minimum income as an offer. Be below that you will not be entertained unless you are in a special category where the requirement is a bit less, and this figure changes each year. So the procedure is quite similar. Again, you need to fill the form, you need to have passport, biometric photos, salary documentation that you might have to present, and similar way you have all these things to be proven from your side. And the requirement might differ in some rare cases, otherwise it is more of standard and same. Let's move on. Now this is where you go to find your specific information. Let's say you are going with this category, tourist visa. Now you will get the entire thing: the overdue, the visa fees, the document required, the photo specification, the visa form, and the time processing. So you will go one by one with this link. You go to the home page, you apply visa, you get a category, then you finalize it, and then with that you get all the documents, and this is the official vendor BFS, so you are going the right direction. Now let's say you are going with the national visa. In case your intended duration of stay in Germany is more than 90 days, then you fall under this category, which include the following but not limited to, like work permit, student visa, family union, etc., etc. If you go to Diplo website for Germany national visa, this is a documentation requirement. It's like 6-stage procedure that I have described. Let's get on to it. Checklist. Now for each category the documentation differ for obvious reasons. Like for employment visa, documentation might be different from what it is required for family union, and so on. So each PDF have all the requirement of what the document need, the embassy need, and they are very much given in the way they should be. So you don't have to look elsewhere, just follow this procedure. Biometrics. Now you get yourself a photo as per the photo biometrics detail. The PDF should say it all. Next comes application form. You have to fill a PDF application form, which we'll discuss. Also declaration one you'll discuss as well. Scheduling appointment. Now you have to schedule an appointment with VFS or consulate or embassy based on your category, and with that you might get a waiting list or appointment straight away. Coming to the visa fees, the visa fees is quite standard, but the mode of payment differ from city to city. So if you are in some city, you might be getting a DD. In others, you might have to go with cash. So make sure you have those things ready before your visa application date. Now this is the PDF that you have to fill. By default it will be in German. Just make sure you go to the left drop down and select English as a language, and then things should look a little readable. Now this is a standard form which asks you for details like personal details, your contact details, your identification paper like your passport, your travel details, references, means of support. Now means of support is like, it could be your salary or it could be someone sponsoring your stay here. And by the time you reach the end of the page, this is how it should look. It should be in green, and the button which is in continue, which was grayed out, should turn into clickable button. The moment you click, after filling the details, a PDF should be downloaded, which will look like this. Now this is the document which is self-filled. It should have all the details printed as well as a unique barcode. Now make sure if any detail is inaccurate, you fill the form again, because the barcode is generated automatically and is unique. This PDF form can also be filled in a manual way, but that will not speed up the process. Ideally we should go with this, and that's the recommended form. Now declaration. Now you have to get this detail just filled up, because let's say in case your visa get declined or some reason like that, who is to be contacted to, and who is your legal representative in that case. That is just a manual formality. Now BA document. Now in case you are coming Germany as a employment, now this is a document which is a declaration regarding your contract of employment, which is sent by your employer to you, and make sure it is a 6-page document, not 5. Now as of now 6 pages is mandatory. If you come with the 5 one, you will probably go empty hand. So make sure you have the 6-page document ready with you, and this is only for BAs. Now ZAV approval. Now this is the approval which is in case of a job, which is not mandatory, but it speed up the process a bit. So if you're looking for something like this is one of the way. At the same time, it is not mandatory. It costs your employer about more than 400 euros to get this approval. At the same time, it speeds up the process by at least few weeks. So it's recommended if your employer is not able to wait, and this is one of the options. Next, a very obvious question which being asked multiple times: what is BAYD? So this is a Visa Doorstep Premium Service by VFS, which allows you to book an appointment with VFS, and they will come to you, get your biometrics and all the documents from your place of your preference, and this is how it works. Ideally, you book an appointment with VFS, you go to the VF application center, and you submit your application, get your biometrics done. But in this case, you get all these privileges at home or office or whichever convenient place that you negotiated with your Visa customer care service. Now, how does the process look like? You go to this website, you select your from country and to country, which could be anything, let's say Germany, and then you will be taken to this page. You have to book an appointment. Now it took like a 4-stage procedure. You book an appointment, you get a confirmation, then one of the representative will contact you before the due date. We will negotiate the waiting list and things like that, and once you have the appointment confirmed, they will have a place negotiated between you and the VFS customer service, and then they come to you or you go to that place, you have your documentation filled and submitted, and everything is done. And the fees is this, which is quite expensive, but this is the price you have to pay for the premium service. Now what are the benefits? They are quite obvious. You get the convenience of home, and you don't have to go to a place which is filled with so many peoples, but it comes with a cost. Now just to note, it no way accelerate the process of your visa application. It is just a way of convenience. You might be saved from checking your mail again for visa slot availability, but it doesn't accelerate the process. So VFS is just a front end between the embassy, and they in no way can influence the outcome of what the visa filing will be. So this is just a way of getting things in a bit convenient way. Now, getting a visa application appointment, well, it's simple. It's just not that easy, as I said. Now for that, you have to go to this website. You make sure the URL is correct, because it is like IND India English Deutsche login. If it is different, it might be for a different country, and they have geo-based locations, so it might not even open. Just go to this website, register yourself, and log in. Now select your visa application center as per your jurisdiction, which we discussed, your category under which you fall, and then the subcategory. And if a slot is available, earlier slot date will be given, and you will have the continue button clickable. Otherwise you will get a waiting list, things like that. Choose an application slot. Make sure you choose a slot or not walk-in. Then select the most preferred date and not the very next date which is available, because you have to get the documentation also ready before that. Now once it is done and you go to VFS appointment date, you get everything done, make sure you get application tracking number, which is given to you as an acknowledgement number, which is the tracking number as well, which you can track. So with that, if you just go to the website, you enter your reference number, last name, then you can start tracking. So it will be like your visa reached embassy or your visa left embassy, and then it's being sent to the embassy and sent from embassy to your place. So just like that you can track. In that process, there might be time where things have reached embassy and it will take some time, during which in no way you understand or know what's going on. You just have to be patient on that. This is how it works. Next comes FAQ, which is like one of the most common question do I need birth certificate for that procedure? Well, the answer is not really, until it is asked in the documentation. If it is required and mandatory document, then it have to be present. For some of them, it is not required. Also, make sure your passport have the correct name. Let's say your initial name was like Pinky, later on got changed to Prakash, then you have to make sure the name is correct in the passport. Also with the apostille, so India is not a part of apostille agreement, so make sure you get your documents apostille accordingly. Let's look at the timelines. Now this should give you an idea of how much time will it take once you apply yourself or waitlist yourself to the time when you receive the actual passport with visa stamp. So this should just give you an idea, but it's quite worth because there's a lot of speculation of how much time will it take. Now let's take this example. This is a blue card category. The guy applied on 8th December. He got himself waitlisted. On 20th he got a slot notification. He applied for it. By Jan he had a visa application set appointment. By the next day the file was dispatched and received at an embassy. 20th it was dispatched from the courier, and by 22 he received it at home with the passport and the visa. So this is the ideal timeline. It might be similar, might be different for each category, but this should give you an idea of how much time it takes in some of the categories and an ideal timeline. Some more to help you. Now coming to an important point where the entire process is quite simple. Embassy have enforced the documents in a way which is quite simple and checklist, so you just have to follow it and that should be it. So you really don't need a consultant for this, which will ideally cost you like more than 50,000 to doing the same thing in just in a different format, which like they have their own PDF which have a different format but the same content. So they sell the service with a different name but doing the same thing which you can do yourself. So there's a lot of communities, people helping one another. You can stick to them, you can ask questions on like WhatsApp or the other formats, which is quite helpful. Now if you go to some website where like let's say Bhagat in Germany who have his website and you subscribe to it, once you do it you will be constantly bombarded with very aggressive campaigns which is says one seat left, this and that. They will constantly try to sell you services which you probably might not need, and they will say that if you don't say take their service, it probably you miss out a lot of things, which is not the case. The community is quite good and you can stick to that. Unless really required, just try to avoid them because you do not need a consultant for just filing a visa. Now once you're done with this, you're probably happy, but once you enter Germany you will see the bureaucracy. So there's a lot to be discussed. We will discuss it some other day. Till then, goodbye.